Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next episode review of Train to the End of the World, episode 4. And now I'm questioning things. Well, because people have been sending comments online, right? And more I read about it, I'm like, you know what? This does kind of make sense, though, right? It does. Okay. We'll get into the episode before I get to wherever I was going to say. Okay, in the episode where our gang is still traveling, right, and they travel. They get to the next station, and shows more, like you said, more of this whole whacked out world is. Like they get to a station, there's a field, and they first see a goat, but then as a person is more human like, runs on 2 feet, right. This whole gang of goats just ramming the train, so they have to get They get the hell out of there. And then one thing was mentioned in the last episode, which I didn't mention though, because as the name of the title of this episode is, Akira. She's hiding because which it turns out though, which I didn't assume it was the first way because okay, she's hiding. Like, apparently, long story short, she got mushrooms growing out of her. You know what, right? And which at first it's not a tail from like she's not turning into an animal because he said that you had to turn at least 15 or so to become one, right, in their village. So I didn't assume it was not that. So okay, I mean, how did she get the mushrooms if she didn't ingest anything or anything like what the girls did from the last episode, right? Well, maybe you can assume the spores or pollen, whatever was floating around. So you can make that argument. And so then they're going to the next station. They see these talking, looks like giant turnips. And they all have faces and they're all laughing, screaming. I'm like, is there any more whacked outness, weirdness that we're going to see? And we get skips of shots of how the atmosphere. We see shots like they're in space where you see multiple planets, like one of Jupiter and other moon lightings, right? Or they're passing through. It looks like we see like giant inners because like Akira, because since she has the mushrooms, she starts acting weird. She's acting weird out. She's getting weirded out like how the girls were in the previous episode, right? It's like all relaxed, like oh, you know. She's acting like they were in the last episode, and so. And they're asking what's the matter with her, and so like, they see the mushrooms, and of course they gotta pull. Raimi has to pull them out, right? And you see this like weirdness because it's like moving on its own, crawling away. But they said like now, even they think they should be back to normal. She should be back to normal since they have the mushrooms out, but she still is not still uneven, right? She's like almost kind of like seemingly paralyzed. She can't barely move, and then she's talking like more immature, right? Like she's like a little kid. So they have to they have to stop. They stop. Well, they can't stop because also they were going to another field where another place where this is raining golf balls, right? Because they said that this is a place they used to play, so a thing for golf balls, right? So that's why it starts raining golf balls, and another field of just it was like another field of like I forget if it was flowers, something like that, but they're wondering how they're gonna do to make her better because they send the signal once again. They signal on the railroad tracks to our guy Zinjiro, the conductor, to communicate again. Which once again, how since the trains were all wrecked, the tracks were all wrecked from the last time, right, from Tidal Wave, but still, I never brought that plot point up. But they said that there's a doctor in this town. I forget what the name of the town is though. Before the guy went back to being cuckoo again being cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs again. So they switch tracks, and they go to this. They head up towards this village, right? This where they're supposed to find this doctor. Well, before that, they make another stop because there is these people. They go to another stop where they find these people who are statues, right? Since they can't move, they can't go anywhere since they're statues, right? And which, by the way, yeah, they say there's 30 stops, right? So they're just going through all these stops. Like they went through like 5 stops already because we're only getting 12 episodes. We're not gonna go. They're gonna go through some stops very fast, though, right? Because we got 12 episodes, so we're not gonna go through each stop for one episode, though. They'll probably make stops that's only relevant for major points in the story for the 12 episodes. So they're gonna be going through some stops very quickly. So, but they manage to get to the one stop, and they manage to the other not Raimi and Shizuru will go to find the doctor while Hibiko, that was the other girl's name. Hibiko stays behind to look after Akira, right? Well, they see a town, but by the time when they get there, the town is small and they're huge, right? And which they do mention. It's like Gulliver's Travels, right? Which they do mention the name Gulliver. So yeah, it is kind of like a version of Gulliver's Travels. They're big, the town's small, and they get attacked by an army plane, army men, and tanks all shooting at them. It doesn't hurt them quite a bit, so that it just itches them, right? But ultimately they pass out from all the gunfire, right? I'm like, yeah, this is Gulliver's Travels. So how much more weirdness could this show anymore get, right? But they wake up though. When Raimi wakes up though, her and Shizuru are tied to the helicopter blades, right? It's like, what? And also, one thing with Raimi, she does feel that kind of guilt. She's feel kind of guilty for what she did with Akira. I mean, first of all, I don't think she should need to be in a guilt because, yeah, she had mushrooms growing. Akira had mushrooms growing out of her hind end, right? But was it either that or however, if she has the mushrooms, yeah, either get rid of them or she sticks with them and die within the next year or two, right? So I don't know. I don't think she should feel any guilty about what happens to Akira because what choice do you have, right? But I understand because yeah, even though you have that choice, but you can't help but have that kind of. She has to just feel guilty just because of it, right? That she's in this state of mind now. So I do get that point, but from my perspective, I don't think she should feel guilty about what happened because either that or have her die within the next year or two, right? So yeah, I understand why she feels guilty, but at the same time, from my view, she shouldn't feel guilty about it. Get to the point here because yeah, this episode is really good too. It still shows more the craziness of whackness of the weirdness of the show still gives us, right? But what I was saying, but where people were commenting online though, because I check stuff out, right, and people were saying, which now they bring this up, and I'm thinking, you know, it does kind of make total sense now, right? That why this whole world looks the way it is. Because I think they say that it's because it's from the mind of Yoka, right? Their friend that Shizuru is looking for, right? The girl who pressed the 7G button. That's why the whole world went to shit, basically. So they're saying that because there's all the wackiness, all the people are animals, wherever the atmosphere looks, and everything else, the weirdness they've been experiencing, it's all to result of. What was a result of what's essence of Yoka, right? You know, maybe because to give it the fact that like her people in their village where she came from, right? Like maybe she represents the people thinking like they're animals in a zoo or whatever, or the moments where we saw the golf balls raining down, maybe because it represents there's a place that sells golf balls, or just how the atmosphere looks, you know. Anything is probably coming from her mind, you know. Because we get a flashback at the start of the episode when they were all little kids, all 4 of them, all 5 of them were together, including Yoka was there, right, with them, right, and we see when Yoka is seeing through when they're doing with the flowers, right, and she's seeing how this particular flower looks, you know, it's this what is her mind thinking, you know, when she's staring, whether she's staring at the flowers, or when over this water bridge, and she's staring at the water, right? What is going in her mind, you know? And also the distance. You know, they say, you know, how it used to be so much shorter when they're traveling from from train stop to train stop, but the distance is such a very long ways. Probably because it's not the distance because it's so long to get to though, but I think because of the distance with Yoka and the distance between maybe with her and her friends, it's that long distance they have, or is this the distance between them as in friendship wise? That's what these people are saying. All these people online where they're making this whole big theory that Yuko is responsible for all this whole entire thing. Yeah, she did push the button. Maybe when she pushed the button, like everything that was in her mind, what reminisces out why the world the way it is. So maybe if they find her, maybe if they push the button again, maybe things will return back to normal. Or when they find her, we assume what she's not gonna be. Is she what could be Is she like manifested into a? Well, the thing is, though, that's not all possible because when they saw her in the newspaper, she seemed perfectly fine, right? It seemed normal in that town of Ikabaru, right, where they're going to, right? So I assume that she's not transformed to anything. She's not the one who's like a supercomputer that's like causing all this or whatever, right? It looked when they saw the newspaper, she seemed perfectly fine, but in this how this world is, anything can happen. So I don't know. So, but from the people who are saying, which I do seem to agree with, that this whole world is coming from her. What was in her mind? What was she? What we see that others don't see. Like you how you see the world differently, right? You have your own little fantasy views and how you see the world, right? Or what you see in people, right? It's kind of like that, though. Maybe that's what we've seen in the episode, in the start of this episode when she was talking to, to Shizuru, right? So, yeah, to me, it's this that in theory does make total sense. So so she's yeah, you say she's a cause, but she didn't do it accidentally. They told her to push the button though, right? But at the same time, yeah, she did do it. She pressed the button, but it does make total sense. And so hopefully maybe that's the case because we only got 12 episodes in this. So and like I said, there's 30 stops, and they're not going to go through each and every stop. They're going to go through each stop very quickly though. So like they would go through a few stops pretty quickly. So overall totally went through 7 stops now. But yeah, and the doctor this town Gulliver's Travels world. So curious of what's what happened because like I said, I don't think how this show can get any more weird as it is, but weird in a good way because I'm really enjoying the show. I'm just being dumped out. All of a sudden, these come out of nowhere, out of nowhere weirdness. I'm like, this show can't. I'm like, how much more weird this show can get? I mean, this has been a fun ride to watch. And I'm really enjoying it. So, yeah, but Train to the End of the World, episode 4. It was just this. Man, what a ride this has been. Yeah, so maybe, and also how Akira had the mushroom grow out of her, but even though she didn't eat anything though, but like I said, maybe because of the pollen or spores that was just floating around, maybe that's how she got it. Because we didn't see her eat anything, and she's the one who had the common sense though, but then she started acting like them in the last episode, so peace and tranquility, So, but yeah, episode 4. This is another really good one. I'm just like I said, the more weirdness I see, the more good the show's gonna be, So, yeah. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time. Later.